Welcome back, Oh, wait. We got
People coming on my freaking show 2 in a row. You initialized yesterday, you today.
I did the intros every other time.
No, you didn't. I did.
I did. No,
Did
I
you?
was there. I did them. I know because I wrote them down. That's a casting secret, everyone.
My apologies. Please go ahead. This is all going in the VOD.
Yes, this is prime material, and we're here for prime material. It's time for the Academy League, day number 4. My name is Academy, joined by Mars Swan with the romantic mood lighting, because we've got ourselves some fantastic games here today. If you're joining us for the first time, we are on day 4 of our 6 games of coverage per day. We're almost done with the 6 games per day start, but we're not quite done with the group stages. After today, we'll be taking a little break and coming back for a final day on this coming Monday, the 6th, to finish off groups, then going to the playoff rounds on the 8th and the 9th, the 9th being the finals itself. Let's see. We've got a lot of games done, so far, but still a few more to go. How is the table looking at the moment for our friends in the audience?
Well, currently, Sengoku Gaming and Rascal Jester still are yet to pick up a win. Sengoku have played 4 games, Rascal Jester 5. So these are 2 teams that are probably definitely looking at the standings going, okay, well, Axis has only got 1 win over us. So there's definitely still some room to move around. Obviously, depends on how Axis does, and a lot of that's out of their control. Important thing to note, though, there is still a bit of movement that can happen. And the reason movement's important is because the bottom teams will play the top teams when it comes to playoffs. So it's very important if you don't want to play maybe V3, who haven't lost a game yet, maybe Crest Gaming Act, who have only lost to Burning Core, which we saw yesterday, the Hawks, who have only lost to V3. There's a lot of these teams who are still doing really good, beating everybody else. It's going to be interesting to see that because there's still a huge amount to play for.
Yeah, well, we can see them on the screen here. As mentioned, V3, the only undefeated team so far. But yeah, there's such a huge gap between the top and bottom right now. There's going to be a lot of work done. But as you said, still for RJ and Sengoku, they've got the chance to try and get up into 6th if they can and avoid getting into that first round of playoffs, where they will most likely get crushed by our first and second place teams. It kind of always feels like, with the table being this split between top and bottom teams, that first round effectively kind of becomes the bye for those top teams if the bottom teams just haven't been able to find any kind of traction at all.
Yeah, and if any of these bottom teams don't, it's still okay, because remember, the first round of playoffs is a best of 1. So it'll be important to see how that is. We've actually got a schedule we can bring up for this. So today's matches, we're going to be starting off with a banger, because that's well and truly what it is. It's V3 Esports facing off against DFM Counterfeit. What a game for us to get started with.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. These are the 2 teams in the league right now who have got win streaks against each other here. So, V3, DFM, certainly V3 coming to this one favored. But, the possibility here, I mean, what incredible showing it would be for DFM after how rough day 1 was, to be the ones to stop the V3's win streak and to take it over themselves. That could even potentially push them up towards being a very top of the table team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the important thing to note there as well, they didn't play all of the bottom tier teams, did DFM, when they were doing this streak, when they've started this streak. Yes, they beat Rascal Jester, but hey, it's a completely different story. As let's bring up those rosters and start going in depth with these 2 teams. I mean, this is the battle of well and truly some very experienced players facing off against well and truly rookies over on DFM.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, for DFM, I think expectations kind of went very heavily downhill after the first day. And I think one of the players in particular that has attracted a lot of perhaps disappointment, Aya, is Ree in the mid lane for DFM Academy. Finally, yesterday, actually managed to find their feet and put out a pretty decent performance.
Yeah, back-to-back games, they actually had a very solid performance. My concern, though, is will that continue against Yu-Gi-Oh!, who has proved to be the best mid laner and maybe one of the top prospecting talents from Academy so far. Obviously, it's still early days, so there's still a lot to play for, but Yu-Gi-Oh was already on our radar beforehand, and I wouldn't be surprised if that continues for a little bit longer. I want to take us down to that bot lane though, because
Hmm.
Marimo had the first pentakill, but Marble has been on a level of their own.
Oh yeah, I mean it's utterly ridiculous, and it shows you some of the weird oddities that can happen when you were talking about stats of a player when they've got such a bizarre outlier compared to everybody else. Marble is is that outlier because they've got a 45 KDA because they've only died a single time in all 4 of their games played so far. So they are, if we're talking about players who are stealing the spotlight for themselves, Marble is absolutely at the apex of what we're taking attention to.
We're just going to have to see, though, against someone like Marimo, who has had that really stellar performance, will they be able to continue it? Obviously, another important spot is Netsui in that matchup against Burning Core was honestly the saving grace with that Xin Zhao. How is that going to fare up, though, versus a player like Unica, who has definitely shown to be, well, just above everybody else when it comes to their jungle pathing? They've got experience. They've done a full season in the LJL. They played playoffs and actually got a 3-0 over the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming. Like, this is a player who knows what it's like to play in a real-life match, a very highly stressful environment, and then we've got a rookie who's prospecting. One of these players I'm more confident in a vacuum than the other.
Well, we shall see what we've got in store for ourselves because we shall get right into this first amazing game. V3 versus DFM, Streak versus Streak. Let's see who's got what it takes.
I was almost going to try and make a joke and see if V3 were going to ban the Cogmore just to be rude, but they didn't. So I won't go ahead with that. Though there are a lot of bans here that make total sense. Yu-Gi-Oh obviously getting heavily targeted by the side of DFM with that Galio and LeBlanc. He made Galio look so good, by the way. So good. And also he's training under Ace, who is honestly the player that is more associated with than anybody else. Some power picks also banned away here with that Varus and that Xin Zhao from both sides. And then obviously Time, Kench, and Set, that is target bans towards Van. Van has obviously, though, picked up the Lee Sin for his jungler, and Washi Day, well, he did the exact same for his jungler with that Silas. No, Viego. I was so flawless, man.
Flawless victory. Well, it does mean that we're in a situation where Unica and Nitsui, they've both been putting out some pretty impressive performances. Now they've both got champions to do it. As you mentioned, the Cogmore as being a potential ban towards a DFM. That was the pick that got the pentakill for Marimo, and they're back on it again.
I mean, against a Viego, I would never pick a Cogmore in a vacuum like that. I hope now that DFM are going to do a lot of like protected draft. Certain champions obviously spring to mind for that. For in mobile champions, Ash Braum though is going to just mess up most of those ideas for DFM. I have to imagine we're going to be seeing either an enchanter to really go into the Cogmore kind of S playstyle, or we're going to play something like a Thresh to try and help that mobility and to help them reposition around in team fights. Obviously, we'll have to see the decision and direction that they do decide to go with, but I'm a little worried. This Rakan is not that. I mean, the best offense is a good defense, or a good defense is a strong offense. I'm sure that's probably the football line, American football. But I can't stand this. I don't know why we're picking Rakan here.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll have to come back to that in a bit because yeah, you're right. I'm surprised as well that's they're going there, but DFM must have something in mind.
Absolutely.
V3 come into this one as definitely the most favored team as we get to the second phase of bans. So we've already seen the Galio LeBlanc going to be joined by the Cassiopeia and the Orianna, that shielding you're hoping to see for DFM, taken away by V3.
Yeah, very solid. That's a protect the AD carry kind of thing, and they actually had that when they played in their matchup versus Burning Core, so Ree won't be able to do that. Lissandra getting banned away. There's a lot of mid lane bans. The thing is, I know one of these players has a absolute champion ocean of Yu-Gi-Oh. We had to see it when he played on Burning Core. He's always pulled that out, so I'm not concerned about that. Ree heavily getting targeted in the second rotation with that Akali as well. The Blanc had already been off the table. I think we might have to see something new from Ree, and I don't think we've seen a Lysandra from them, so I'm excited. Oh no, Syndra raid, probably. Yeah, there we go, not a Lysandra, it's Syndra, because Lysandra's already banned away.
Well, there's a lot of weight being thrown at Ree now that we've actually seen them, really find themselves in the tournament. Hopefully we'll get to see more of that. So yeah, the Akali against Axis, and of course the Orianna from before against Creative actually did surprisingly well. So we'll have to see how Reed does here. Said it's a tough matchup as Jarvan the Fourth comes out as fourth pick for V3, and we could be seeing the return of the Rise. We will. V3 go all in.
This is Yu-Gi-Oh's Rise. This is a different beast. Rise has one of the lowest win rates in the whole of Academy. I believe it's something like 13%, 1-7. That is just not worth playing it at the moment in Academy, because a lot of people struggle with the rotation, struggle with the gameplay, the playmaking that you actually get with Rise. Yu-Gi-Oh is probably the one player I would always be like, yeah, he's fine with this. As Vine just picked himself into a counter matchup that was B1. What's going on here? Unless this is what's going to happen, Syndra bot lane. Like that's going to make more sense to me. But yeah, there we go. Renekton, he's picked himself into a counter pick matchup. Unless this is actually going to be laning J4. Okay, so it's not. Doesn't matter now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Unica is going to be playing the Viego, so it's not going to be a counter-pick matchup for the Renekton in this top lane, but actually it's going to be a rather interesting lane. I've not seen lane Jarvan versus Renekton, though this is a pretty normal camera, so we'll have to see how that goes down. But who are you favoring at the moment, Counterfeit?
I mean, it's very tough to come into this one with any expectation apart from, the undefeated team remains undefeated. Therefore, in the spirit of the Hawks, everywhere, I'm going to say, while we've definitely got our questions about whether or not this Cogmore can be put in a position again to go off as big as they did yesterday, I still, just because it's more fun this way, I think the V3, they're going to find a way through. I think this is maybe the ascent of Marimo, the ascent of Ree. This is such a huge opportunity for DFM. They only get one shot at V3 outside of players. This is their chance to take down the biggest dog in the yard.
Not only is this the biggest dog, this is probably going to be a very difficult job to get through. Think about Marimo when he played his Cogmore last time. There wasn't a J4. There wasn't a Braum. There wasn't a Viego. These are champions which are very good at getting on top of a mobile AD carry. The other important thing is, who is actually playing Protect the Cogmore in this team for DFM? Netsui with a Lee Sin kick away? A defensive ultimate from Fujimoto? That's kind of it. Scatter the week from Ree. I'm kind of a little bit concerned for them, because if they don't have this kind of protection, hopefully a team like V3 can punish this, because that's where it actually comes in. This is where, because Marimo didn't have this problem when he played against Burning Core. Burning Core struggled to get onto his immobile AD carry, even though he didn't always have the greatest positioning. They just couldn't collapse and actually effectively always take him down. Is that going to be the case here? We'll have to find out. If you ask me, though, when it comes to just explicitly talking about the picks he's gone for, I don't know why we haven't gone for Aphelios. I don't know why we're not playing Jinx instead of Cogmore. There's just very weird reason. I guess it's just a comfort pick thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not, be drawn back to the pick that you made the league's only pentakill on. But you're right.
True.
This is the game without Orianna. This is the game without the Braum that they had against Burning Core, which, of course, is incredible for keeping people alive. So you're right. This is very dangerous territory, but perhaps for DFM, they thought they needed to take some kind of risk here to take down a team that's certainly on paper the team to beat. I mean, Most, where I stand. Do you think this is upset territory, or do you think this will just be another brick in the wall for V3 building up their fortress at the top of the table?
I think my concern around this Cogmore should have set me up rather well to be like, yes, I think this is heavily V3 favored. They're also playing Ashe Braum bot lane, meaning that if Marimo gets remotely tagged by Braum, potentially just dead. Cleanse, I'm expecting it's going to be Cleanse and Flash from Kog'Maw, and even then, that's probably going to get blown in the first few seconds, as I believe, Counterfeit, the Rift is ready for us.
Let's get started for our very first game of day number 4. V3 versus DFM. Only one of these two teams comes out of this game with a winning streak. V3 unbeaten so far. DFM playing very risky in our opening game. Let's see what they've got for us.
But at this very moment in time, we just get to chill, we get to relax. Let's have a look at these summoners and see. We've got Hail of Blades, Ash, so they are looking to kill Marimo at 6, or before 6, or after 6, or just any time in this game that a remotely Marble could actually get on to Marimo. On the opposite side, we got Comet. Makes total sense. He went for this in the previous game when he got that pentakill. It's absolutely great for that poking ability. It keeps him having some early lanes to stay, well, early lane poke, which actually allows him to stay in the lane a little bit longer because he needs that extra damage just going on the minions, so he actually doesn't fall horrendously far behind. As early game, this is going to be heavily Ash favored. Kog'Maw needs to scale up in this lane, otherwise it's going to be pretty hard. Both these mid laners have got phase rush, which let's be real, we expect that from these two mid lane champions. Grasp is pretty cool. I like the grasp on the Jarvan, but okay, yeah, we're just slapping one another. They're very standard. At least Marimo has a good taste in champion skins. I love B-More personally.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely totes adorbs. Interesting note on the power spike here from the Blitzcrank bot. I kind of was assuming that we were seeing the Kog'Maw getting stronger and stronger as it goes on, but it's looking like around the 25-minute mark or a little past that, it's predicting that V3 will be the ones being the most powerful if everything else is equal.
So the reason for that is 2 things. Well, 3 things actually. Jarvan normally falls off at 30 minutes, right? That's because Jarvan is almost historically always being played in the jungle. When you're a lane Jarvan, you get so much more gold, you actually don't fall off anywhere near as hard because you actually get item spikes. You actually get to like 2 or 3 items, which is actually put you in a really decent spot, as opposed to typical jungle Jarvan. The other thing is they've got a Ryze. Ryze is always great at scaling. He always has been in the history of League. You know that. I know that. We all know that. RIP old Ryzes and the many reworks. The other thing is Vape Nation. Viego is probably the best late game champion currently in League of Legends. So that's why it just goes off into like the absolute sky's the limit, because yeah, Marimo, you got a pentakill on Kog'Maw, who's one of the great late game carries. Viego though is better.
Well, we have got the first attempt to be made onto Watch Day, so a decent trade to chunk out some health as Unica concentrates on farming. But so in the early going, we don't see anything too crazy, even though V3 will be trying for some invading nonsense. They won't find anything for their troubles, but they will get a bit of vision down. Where should we be looking for, Swan, for our kind of expected early flashpoints in this game?
Bot lane. Probably. Realistically, I don't mid lane shouldn't be fighting. Mid lane should just be an absolute farm fest. And if they don't do that, it's a mistake, in my opinion. I think both these mid laners just want to farm up, get to 1 to 2 items, and then they can start roaming around and helping objectives and finding things. Obviously, Ryze has the ability to roam, so potentially once Ryze hits 6, that's definitely something to pay attention to. Also, potentially we'll just see these 2 mid laners fight it out a huge amount. These top laners want to do the action.
For sure. Van looks like they got something to prove. Nice. Stopping just short of getting tower aggro there, so not over-aggressing from Van, but certainly winning out the trades. So that seems like a promising start. The Salty, so far, visiting both top and mid, though only managing to get some real damage done in the top lane. But we haven't seen any Unica ganks so far on this Viego.
No, and Unica is going to probably just want to do 2 full clears, get to 6 ASAP, because then once you get reset Cityville, hey, it doesn't matter. You can have a counter gank come in halfway through. You're still going to win it. As we see, Marimo with that Comet, it does just do that extra little bit of poke onto Marble, so it's not always going to be a net win trade for Marble, though, as we can see, very small CS advantage. This is something that both these bot laners have had okay time doing. Obviously, Marble has been leading the charge on all of that. And currently, the other thing I want to give credit when it comes to the CS department, Ree. Look at Ree. He is tying at the moment. Actually, at this very moment in time, he's only behind one player of Washide, who is doing a great job farming on this Jarvan 4, even though Van has been notorious. Well, actually, this whole game he has just been on top of Washide and hasn't actually been able to secure the farm for himself. So he's actually 10 CS down, which is over a wave and a half, which is not really that acceptable when you're playing that aggressively on a Renekton. You should be winning in the CS department.
Yeah, presumably, even if Van was able to drive Washide out of lane, still wouldn't be able to make up that difference enough time. At least Van does still have the TP available, as does Ree. So DFM do have the possibility of making those cross-map plays if the top lane doesn't work out as they hope.
Yes, and the other thing I want to pay attention, because you were asking me, where is the blood going to be coming from? Because I want blood in these matches, because I find it far more exciting in an academy system when there is a bit more blood than just gentlemen's agreements or just humanitarian refugees. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. It doesn't matter. It's because another one where it can happen is obviously this Braum passive. When Ashe ultimate comes out, there's going to be a huge amount of pressure now put on to Marimo and Fujimoto to play very much protect one another. As it currently stands, obviously Marimo is going heavily into this AP kind of direction, is going to have to go for this hybrid build so we can get rockets going. I wouldn't be too surprised if they maybe lean even further into this AP side because they have gone for this Comet and actually go heavily in that direction because they've got two ADs at top.
You had a little bit of trouble here. They do have Unica coming in from the side, try and make his save, but the Lee Sin across does the ton of damage, and there's the first blood. Unica is going to try and trade it back, look for those resets, but in comes the shields across the wall. Unica drops as well. Nice combination play from DFM.
Really sickly played there. I mean, the Skull of the Week immediately coming out. Yugio then not being able to react effectively. He flashes away, but then gets flashed on top of. Netsui is really good at closing in there, and that's just a really smart situation. The side of Detention FocusMe had this all warded, whereas the side of V3 were going into their vision. So it was always going to be a little bit of a difficult battle. The fact is, I love here that Netsui had to flash forward to go for it. He gets a little bit worried, has to get away from this from Unica in some facet, but hey, ward jumping's pretty good at doing that, and Fujimoto coming along to help and just give that extra shielding. Definitely saved and made that a clean play for DFM. It's not always going to go that way, but hey, it's a pretty good spot to find yourself in pretty early on.
Yeah, we were worried about whether Fujimoto would be able to keep Marino up in that bottom lane under the pressure. So at least so far is 1 of 4-0 on saving the day, and they're heavily on the roam actually from that bottom lane towards this first Herald.
The solo Van's been found, or rather Washide's been found in this top side. The two top laners just fighting. Ashe ultimate misses. How did that miss? What?
I don't know. That seemed like it went right through there. So Herald gets reset. V3, they've got the numbers here. The Cogmore coming in from just off the side. So we get a chance to reset here, but it looks like V3 are going to be falling back as the Herald is fully started up.
We're just doing it again. This time, though, it's going to just be it's handed over to the side of DFM. V3 decided, hey, you guys just didn't get here fast enough. We're actually going to hand this over to you guys. While you do that, we're going to actually push bot lane and probably get a plate. If they get one plate in this bot lane, if they're able to get more than a plate anywhere else, this is actually a net win for V3 just with the sheer amount of minions that they've probably been able to accrue. Getting this getting the Skull Crab is really good. If they're able to set up around bot lane as well, maybe find a flank or something. They've just seen the bot lane of DFM returning back to that lane. It looks like, yeah, one turret plate did go down. So actually it wasn't that bad of a situation just due to the amount of gold that Rift Herald gets. So much of it is actually on that crash, making sure you get turret plates, because if you don't, going for a Rift Herald is actually rarely a strong move to make unless you're also making proactive plays elsewhere as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised to see V3 back off that quickly, but you're right, by doing so, it felt like they kind of got the best of not having to risk losing a fight at the Rift Herald. while also getting that guaranteed extra minion gold and potentially some of the tower plates as well. I think minimal damage done by V3 for the time being. The gold remains very, very even between the two, despite DFM having those early couple of kills.
Yeah, and we're going to have to just see if the side of DFM are able to kind of push with this advantage. Are they just going to try and scale? Which obviously isn't the move I would recommend. I think if they've got advantages, DFM need to push that advantage as best they can, because if they wait around, I just don't know if they're going to be able to get there as effectively as... important distinction. This is probably going to be AP Cog. Because comparing the difference between when they went for that and when they played Cog last time and they actually went for it, they went for a Doran's Blade first item. Obviously, this is going in a very different direction. I'm just as intrigued as everybody else to see the direction they do go in. I don't think we're getting first item Wit's End here.
No, I'm fascinated to see what happens here because, yeah, Marimo did incredibly well last time around, but we have very different setup for this next game. DFM, we're still waiting to see where that Herald drops, though.
I think it's going to be a Luden's Tempest, probably first item for them, because of the direction of build that they're going in. Probably then into an Archangels, which is why we've got that tier. And I mean, he's got a really good stack already going on this tier. It is going to take them, though, obviously, a few items to get going. But at 3-4 items, they're going to be an absolute machine, and they're just going to destroy people way harder than they're going to be expecting. It's going to just be interesting to see how V3 kind of itemize and play around that sort of thing. Are they prepared for that kind of thing or not? I wouldn't be, but then you've got an Ashe ultimate, so anytime you're worried about a Cog, if you can just point blank get an Ashe ult, you're probably going to win, because he's just dead at that point.
Yeah, it's going to be completely reliant. Oh, nice kick back there for Yu-Gi-Oh! Across the wall. Will cost them their flash. So we're starting to see a little bit more brawling in the river, as we're still dead even between the two teams, even after that Herald crash up in the top lane, taking a couple of plates for DFM. There's no difference between the two teams as far as goal goes. Nasuni will realize they've just been spotted out on a control ward, though. So an attempt to sneak the Cloud Drake is going to be a lot riskier than it would have been before.
Yeah, and look at that. CS be damned, they're going to find it. Unica's going on Ree.
Yeah, Ree almost forced to try and get away at speed. Nice cancel on the realm wall there. But it's looking like DFM are going to struggle to get away. Fujimoto is incredibly low as the Sushi comes charging in. Cascasm locks Ree in place with a double kill for Watchaday. What a disaster for DFM. Fujimoto can't go back in to save their AD carry. The Marimo will be forced to flash away, and the Drake lies there as V3's prize.
Yeah, even with everything that they threw at that, DFM, you got caught out this time around, and you actually indexed kind of into this one. You were trying to set up your vision. The problem was they didn't know where Unica was, and Vape Nation reigns supreme. However, this beginning play, I do want to absolutely agree with you. Netsui played this so well. Look at how quick he was moving around, getting in position. That kick was so clean. Obviously, it doesn't lead to anything outside of blowing Yu-Gi-Oh's flash, but hey, that's a pretty good way of setting up for this. As you mentioned, they're clearing the CS, they're clearing the vision, they're setting up, they're going to try and do this. Unica then pops up, Vape Nation, and Ree had just gone through a pink ward. He had just seen Unica get back there. I'm not sure what he's thinking there. The Realm Warp was actually really good because it prevented Ree from actually fully committing and running away from this. Obviously, at this point in time, they already know the game's over. And while V3 were very fortunate to actually only get 2, there's a world where they probably get 3-4 kills in that scenario. If Fujimoto did go down at like minus 10 HP, if they're able to get a catch on Van, like, these are realistic situations. Marimo was nowhere near that whole team fight, so it was very hard to get onto them, but you don't even have to get onto them if they're really far away, as Unica wants more.
Yeah, Marimo kind of hoping they're a little bit further away from Unica. I mean, to be fair, V3 have pretty much had possession of this right-hand quadrant of the map for the whole game. We've been seeing much more vertical jungling than our traditional style, so it's very dangerous to be in this DFM bottom lane there. Holding out so far as Van looks like they might be able to actually pick up the first tower of a Washaday despite falling behind in CS.
Yeah, I mean, this Renekton has been playing very aggressively. Remember, they were getting a few plates. They had Netsui come along and help them. As you mentioned, the Rift Herald. Washide has been playing weak side like an absolute king because he is the Prince of Demacia. And look at his CS, look at his kills. This man is feeling very comfortable even though he hasn't gone back. He went Brambled Vest before deciding... because he needed that defensive stats in lane, and he's probably about to go back and get his own Gore Drinker and feel very comfortable in this situation because he's like, well, I have defensive stats for Renekton and Lee Sin, and the rest they've had to go AP Kog'Maw. I just jump into the middle of them with a Cataclysm, and I don't care about this Kog'Maw. As V3 deciding if they actually want this priority on this Rift Herald, and DFM actually want to try and bully their way in and see if they can find it. Marimo's very far on that backline. I don't know if they'll be here in time. They haven't.
DFM waited maybe just a little bit too long. That's a catch of Marimo, blows the cleanse straight away.
Look, the rest of the team are dead.
As Kog'Maw, Washide does get taken out, but it's gonna be in favor of DFM. Reset City is starting to become a lot more populated. As here we go, the reset after reset, Unica is cleaning up for the triple kill. Eventually falling across at least a 4, really got something out of the whole thing, but for V3, that is a huge team fight win. And they've got priority to move in to the tower as well.
And it's what we were mentioning in this champion select and our concern around the composition of DFM. They are very immobile, and if remotely they get taken down in some capacity, it can be so difficult. What has the side of V3 got? They've got that Jarvan forward with that Cataclysm. I said that ultimate is going to be game-changing as we come into this team fight. I don't care about anything else here. I just want you to watch and appreciate how good Washide played this on this Cataclysm, because he is so patient, waiting, still waiting. He is still waiting. There we go. He immediately goes on to Marimo the moment that Ashe ultimate comes back around, gets the 2-man ultimate alternate them. And look at this, Marimo, Netsui, they can't escape. Now the members of V3 after Reset City have come in, as you mentioned. It's just a formality at this point. But this team fight is single-handedly taken care of for DFM because Washide plays the front line, prevents the carries of DFM from getting away, and then they just have to kind of accept fate at that point. So well played from V3.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it felt like a fight where DFM really wanted to try and keep their distance.
Well, they bullied their way in, remember? They decided they wanted to go for this. They didn't have to make that play.
No,
they didn't.
They got punished for it.
And the Rift Herald had already gone down. Like, that's the whole kind of concern. It's like, DFM, you didn't have to go for this. You chose to go for this team fight, and you got punished for it.
All right, resetting to a environment where V3 are very much in domination, coming close to 20 minutes. These are two teams with generally very, very short game times, first and the third. Shortest games in the league for V3 and DFM, respectively. Right now, it seems to be swinging towards V3. Wonder if there's any hope left for DFM.
I think there is still hope. Obviously, you've got Marimo on this Kog'Maw, so there's never any doubt. And Netsui, when he's doing kicks like that.
That's the combo play. Braum able to save himself for a couple of seconds more as Yu-Gi-Oh comes in with the Roadhog into the back. It's a Cataclysm! DFM are sent scattering with barely any health left. They somehow don't lose any more than Fujimoto.
But Dragon's up. They're going to be going straight around. They have an objective to do it. Van is going to be a full health for Renekton, but has already had to pop that Dominus at the very start of that team fight before slipping and sliding away with slicing and dicing. Look at that. Just another objective. V3 have one of the best dragon controls in the whole of Academy at the moment, so this is not surprising that they're stacking 2 dragons. It's a slow dragon, but hey, if this game goes 30 minutes, they can get another 2, end on a soul. Bang, 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 as we come into this. And I want to give credit here, because Hatel is taking so much random damage, it's like, oh, this isn't clean. But Marble is on the back line, but I have to, again, highlight, it's Washide, as you can see him coming around on this minimap. I'm not talking about what's happening on screen. Watch this minimap. He is coming around. He is coming the long con. The thing is, Hatel could actually tank that, and then bang, Cataclysm, once again, forces 2 flashes. 2 flashes counterfeit. Without that, like, that play is night and day just made even stronger, because now Ree and Marimo, the immobile champions, the carries for this team, don't have their flash. the first Cataclysm, Reed didn't have Flash. Reed almost had his Flash, but didn't have it. Marimo decided to use Cleanse, didn't use his Flash. This time around, that same Cataclysm, that's already up again. Well, their Flashes aren't. It's gonna be so difficult because Washide is so good at putting that Cataclysm down.
Yeah, the flanks so far, the positioning has been fantastic for this job. DFM, it seems like each of the times that this is happening, they're just not seeing Washide coming. In that last case, managed to get a beautiful, perfect flank around. So Herald drops into the top lane. DFM in major trouble here. We're seeing the same team fight over and over again, with DFM not having any better luck the second time round.
Washide feels confident now. He's like, well, I've got a few kills under my belt. I've got this Gore Drinker now. You know what, Renekton? I'll fight you, Van. Come on. I'm J4 and the Prince of Demacia. I'm ready to go, my dude. It does feel a little bit concerning if you're the side of DFM. 4k gold down. Netsui is definitely trying to find the lines in the play, and they were the heart of DFM when they did get that pentakill on that win over Burning Core. So, well, rather DFM got the pentakill as a whole, as a team, not specifically Netsui. I kind of flubbed that one a little bit. I'll admit.
I'm sure that Netsui was a large part of the reason that Marimo was able to get a pentakill. This is not, this is not a character who's like, hey, don't worry, guys, you just stay back in the fountain. I'll do it. It's
not Samira. Yeah, exactly. It's not a Xerath. It's not a Samira. It's not the kind of champion where it's like, I can 1v5 if I get like 6 items and just get an elixir and I can figure it out. No.
Well, I mean, to talk about Marimo a bit more, we talk, the itemization here, which was the big surprise, the AP itemization.
Yes.
We've got the Ludens. We've got the Sorcerer's Shoes. So we're at the beginnings of what we might see from a later game.
Wait, yeah, now I'm seeing what you're saying. The double longsword. I don't know, Counterfeit. I don't actually have an answer for you with that one. Oh, is that for... Oh, I think it might be for No, Ginsu's doesn't build that.
I guess we'll find out.
Well,
at least we hopefully will find out if Marimo
if this game goes on for long enough. Oh, thank you, our producer. They're suggesting it's Manamune, but the problem is Kog'Maw typically goes for Archangel Staff as their second item. At least this is mid lane Kog'Maw I'm trying to source this information from, because it's the closest thing to an AP Kog'Maw that there is out there. Because Marimo, it lives by their own drum, and this Kog'Maw, well, even with them getting caught out a few times, they've only died once. They played very good on this backline. They've got a great amount of CS for their DFM roster. Now, while a lot of the other members are starting to fall behind, Marimo isn't really falling that far behind against Marble. And Marble, remember, is still probably an MVP for the side of V3 and just in the bot lane role as well. So he's definitely giving himself a lot of credit and should feel confident and proud about his performance so far.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that Marble has died in this game, which means that'll be their second death of the competition. That is something for DFM to write home about. At least they have halved Marble's ludicrous KDA, which is only possible because of having that single death so far. So 45, all the way down to I don't know what it'll be by the end of this game. And hopefully,
it'll be halved.
You think there's no more deaths for Marble? That's your lot. The one death. I mean, yeah, 5 assists and single kill so far. Certainly looking good for them. Oh, there we go. There, the Manamune has been completed.
It has. Wow.
Okay. I want to put to you. This is just a thought that we've got the AP and AD split. Of course, normally we see the AD in the bot lane and the AP in the mid lane. We're not really seeing the hard AD that maybe we could have otherwise been seeing from the top lane here of Van. Maybe this is what Marimo needs. Van isn't providing the AD, so the Kog'Maw has to do it instead.
Yeah, but you went first item Ludens.
You changed your mind?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm that meme right now. Tell me this is a good build, because I'm like, change my mind. I'm not sold on this remotely. I think we're getting a bit of Tilt City right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, Counterfeit. That doesn't feel remotely correct. These two items don't typically get seen together, and if they do, you're normally playing a champion who kind of can really benefit from having a little bit in column A and a little bit in column B. Kog'Maw really kind of incentivizes people, because he is a hyper carry, remember, to kind of commit to an idea and a playstyle for them. Doing this kind of direction, I'm a little bit worried because, well, are we going for the Ginsu's Ray Blade, Horizon Focus, like crazy AP kind of carry that Kog'Maw can be, and it is known, or are we going to go back into kind of a Wit's End, Runan's Hurricane kind of direction? I really don't know. And now we're getting a Orb? Okay.
I guess we're going AP direction.
But why did we go Manamune then? Why don't we just... You can see my confusion, I hope, Counterfeit, because one of these things is pulling you in one direction, another part of this build is going another direction. Why don't we just copy Ree's... So hey, middle cart out there. Just copy over. I want you to window capture what Ree has, and can you just place it over where Marimo's is? And I'll be real happy after that. I'll be really happy, and then I can just end this game afterwards anyway. But in all seriousness, I'm not going to keep flaming. V3, what's actually happened in this game? V3 were able to secure the dragon, and they're going for a play as well.
Marimo forced to burn the flash because, as we pointed out before, the defensive tools aren't great. Washide goes right onto Marimo and kills them immediately. Nothing DFM could do about it at all. Van forced to flee away at high speed, and the big concerns about the inability to protect Marimo, at least for V3, when they're stealing the Kog'Maw, they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, what's the best offense, a good defense? Well, or maybe you can just kill the Kog'Maw, steal it for yourself, double auto. Van runs away with his very large crocodile tail between his legs, because there's no way you want to go against B-Maw when Viego is the king, baby. Because look at his build. He's got the Wits End that you want to build on a Kog'Maw first Iron Man.
All right. So I'm going to call a moratorium on discussing Marimo's inventory, because we're not going to get any news there for a while anyway.
Okay.
The big question I want to put to you here for DFM, it does involve Marimo. And items, to be fair, as well. We've got back onto it again. But Marimo, as we just saw, they get run down by V3.
Yes, every time.
What, if anything, can they do about this?
They can't do anything. They can't, because even, think about it, okay, so even if Netsui plays Giga backline for DFM, right? Like, Netsui basically starts playing Protect the President, looks to kick out Washide whenever he cataclysms on. Oh my god, though, there's another play.
Marimo's gonna have to try and walk their way out of trouble with in from the behind. The flanking from V3 is good again. Ree is off to the side with nothing to say about this absolute massacre in the mid lane. Netsui tries to buy as much time as possible, but DFM, they are caught off guard. V3's formational play has been crisp as all hell.
Yeah, so that really, more than anything else, Counterfeit, in answer to your question, you were probably going to ask me what we just saw. No, I think DFM, it's a little bit over. It's a little bit done. I was going to say if Netsui could play Protect the President, kick Washide out if they try and get on top of it. But that's not really taking into the full credit of what V3's lineup can do here. Think about it, you've got a Viego who is great at diving, dashing, diving, ducking, the whole dodgeball kind of idea. And not only that, you've got an Ashe ultimate, you've got a Braum ultimate. Look at this, they threw that. Marimo's like, I'm probably getting engaged on here. They immediately go on him. He's like, okay, I've got to try and get around the back. Viego came around and said, you're in the back line. And then he just steals the ultimate, goes around, resets City. We know how the rest of this goes. They do at least get one kill. And honestly, Netsui, damn good jungler. Such a good jungler. Problem is, he's against Unica on a Viego, so it doesn't really matter how good you are if the enemy is just as good. But this Lee Sin is definitely exciting from Netsui. I'm really enjoying this. DFM, though, are having to fight against a team with a Baron, with Dragon coming up in 10 seconds. It's going to be Mountain. It's going to make this game even harder. And even worse for an AP Kog'Maw, really, because now they're going to get more stats. This Ashe is going to be 3 items down. And everyone on the side of V3 is going to be tanky. They just have more tanky stats. How is Washide ever going to die now? With a Braum, with Ryze getting this as well, with Viego. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be an uphill battle, but if anyone can do it, DFM have the heart at least to do it.
Well, I'm sure they're going to lose a little bit of heart there, in that V3 were able to take the Mountain Soul with nothing coming back from DFM whatsoever. They're that driven into their own half of the map. They can't even contest a major objective. DFM going to be pressed onto the towers now. Watch Day, as you mentioned, incredibly hard to put down and pushing without fear in the bottom lane.
Look at the level disparity. You can just imagine what the gold disparity is between the two top laners. 14 to 17. Washide is absolutely having a tear right now. Oh my god, and we just saw Syndra land her Q, scatter the weak onto them, and it didn't even proc the shield from the Mountain Drake. Washide is horrendously tanky at this point because of the direction they went with that Spirit Visage, with the Bramble Vest. They've itemized really well into this with that Negatron Cloak as well. It means that Marimo and Ree are going to struggle to do a lot of damage to him. And the fact is, there's not a lot of AD. Like, it's basically Netsui because sadly, Van has fallen behind. He has only completed 2 items. He hasn't got a 3rd item yet, whereas Netsui has been fortunately able to do that. So he is able to output that damage, but Washide only having to worry about a Lee Sin damage, and Lee Sin is far more concerned with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marble and Unica. The fact that Washide is just kind of exists and is going to be an absolute terror for the side of DFM to deal with, I'm very concerned. I don't know how you deal with that, as we just witnessed a 4.8k Baron power play.
Yeah, that's going to put 10k between the two teams, and noted from before when see that goal difference starting to balloon out massively. The power spike predicted by Blitzcrank-chan was around this point, or at least a couple of minutes before this point. So V3 definitely exactly where they want to be, that big Mountain Soul Shield. They've got their push in. The only good news with DFM is they haven't dropped inhibitors as of yet, but it feels like it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and credit for DFM's composition. They're better at wave clearing than what V3 are at sieging. So they've definitely got that going for them. Sadly for V3, they might, unless they're able to find a pick, like if they find a pick, they can absolutely just siege and go for this. But if they can't find a pick, they might have to wait for another Baron, which woe is V3 if they have to wait for another Baron to win this game, because it's up in 2 minutes. It's not even that long of a wait. They can just set up these waves, and they're pushing as if they had Baron. Imagine if they had Baron coming into this. These cannon minions would be way worse. We saw what Washide was doing when he was barely even pushing properly. I'm interested to see how these next minute or two is going to go, Counterfeit, as V3 just keep positioning around this mid lane, and then Yu-Gi-Oh goes back to top, and Washide is getting collapsed on, but then he gets to walk away because J4 tanky. Yu-Gi-Oh 18, Washide 17, Ree highest player on DFM, just pinging 16.
Yeah, that's crazy to see most of DFM in the bottom half of the experience graph there. I guess it really reflects how little DFM really want to take a fight right now. All credit, though, to the defenders of DFM. You said, they're wave clearing well. While that bottom tower did get fairly clobbered, the Baron buff is now gone, so there's no guaranteed chip damage. DFM hold on. We're 33 minutes in. Yesterday, we did have a new record set for longest game in the Academy League at 41 minutes and 38 seconds. I have to imagine DFM, given how badly things are going right now, are hoping to set a new record in our first game of the day.
Imagine they are, but V3 are probably thinking the absolute opposite. They all recalled at the moment the minute mark hit, well, 10 seconds actually towards that minute mark. They started resetting, and now they are getting their vision out. They went back and brought, they are prepared, and they are starting to clear out because they want this Baron. And honestly, the place that they are at the moment, they'd kind of want DFM to actually come and have to face them. Come to us, come into the gauntlet. Because remember, if DFM don't, well, V3 can just take the Baron, take a turret. They can play around the map. They've got the TPs up. They've got that Rise Realm Warp.
Oh, you've got me ready now to look out for where the other members of V3 are going. So we've got double flank coming in right now. Yu-Gi-Oh working their way around the flank. We've got Unica coming in from the side. We're actually going to see a move from V3 towards the top lane. They try and sneak in a little bit of extra damage from the minion wave is there, but it will last only for a second. DFM refused to be drawn from their fortifications too far, as what is this? A realm warp right into the Baron pit. Here's V3 pulling the trigger.
Absolutely, and you just saw them what they did. With that play, what they did is they actually cleared out all the vision that DFM had. They cleared out all the vision in the top side of the brush, And we're like, you can't have any of this. With the empowered backs, they now get to all recall, spend any money that they happen to have accrued or maybe didn't spend previously. We just saw a longsword coming out for Marble, and now they're coming back out onto it, resetting, get that TP out, because guess what? There's probably not going to be more than what this play afterwards. Elder is about to be on the table, and well, if you look at DFM's base, there's 2 minion waves knocking at the moment, and Washide has a teleport, so yeah, okay. If this goes bad, it's just over.
This seems like it's do or die time for DFM, setting up around this Elder Dragon. At least they're in position first. Washide goes for flank this time round. DFM see it coming. They've got vision around most of the pit, though not on the north side. V3 still contain that as Yu-Gi-Oh pushes up the mid lane with the Baron buff. This Elder Drake, even if it's won by DFM, could cost them at least an inhibitor. Washide sneaks round, trying to cut off any retreat opportunity for DFM. It is going to be a full 5v5 fight. The gold is not even in the slightest, and this is a desperation move amongst desperation moves for DFM.
They didn't know where Yu-Gi-Oh was. They were trying to find something, but now with Yu-Gi-Oh being back on vision, they're just frantically trying to do it. V3 are just chunking down this Elder, and they don't even mind it, because guess what? They've got that mountain, so they are just so tanking. They can just let it reset. They're happy for this, because guess what? Yu-Gi-Oh is actually pinging for help. I think he's going to try and Realm Walk him and end the game.
It would be able to bring the whole squad with them as V3. They make the commit once again. Keep your eyes on this Cosmo Marimo. Locked in place by Washide. Nowhere to go. Flashes out of the Cataclysm. Yu-Gi-Oh comes charging in. It's Viego time. Reset City. We've got a return ticket. Triple kill so far as the rest of the job is done. Make that the 3rd quadra kill of the Academy League. And just like you said, the Realm Warp brings V3 back to the inhibitors to finish the job.
Yeah, I definitely think Marble feels a little bit left out there, because he was in that Realm Warp, but if you click out of the Rise Ultimate when you're in it, you will actually not get taken out. We all learned this, ladies and gentlemen, together in the LEC, because the amount of bugs that we saw. Marble, though, will be there for the team photo at the end. Well done, V3.
Yeah, we were hoping this would be an even competition, but V3 showed us why they are undefeated, now 5-0 in this here Academy League. What a performance.
Well played, V3 Esports. There were some concerns. We were asking the questions, and as it turned out, we were rather correct with our assumptions. We just wanted to make sure and verify those questions. This was a rather decisive victory from the side of V3. It took them a few more minutes to get going than we were expecting. It wasn't a very quick, early, aggressive game, but they very much had an idea on how they wanted to progress this game, and they ended out cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to wonder, Swan, how much of this game was determined in that pick and ban. You had very big concerns about whether or not the Cogwell could be protected, and the answer to it seemed to become apparent that they just couldn't be protected. In fact, they would be relentlessly run down again and again by a vicious V3 who just don't know how to go anything but top speed.
It got even worse because of Reeve also being on that Syndra, and the fact that Washide was just landing 2-man Cataclysms on just those 2 immobile carries. It kind of emphasized it and made it look even worse than it was. That's just kind of how the nature of how some games go. Sometimes you always land the Cataclysm on both the carries. Sometimes you whiff and miss one of the carries, or they flash just in time. It's why I was hopeful for maybe a more mobile AD carry, or an AD carry that can build a Gale Force, because then you can just dash out. But nah, it wasn't meant to be. He went for the Kog'Maw, and it had moments of brilliance. It just wasn't able to get online.
Well, speaking of moments of brilliance, there are still many to come here, Marswan, because as exciting as that last game was, streak versus streak, with V3's streak remaining intact, we move on to, after the break, our next game, which we'll see Crest Gaming against the Hawks themselves. It's second place Crest Gaming versus third place Hawks. This should be an absolute barn burner of a match. You do not want to miss it, so stick with us. We'll be back after the break for Game 2.